Hi, love Elle, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Today's video is actually one that's been long awaited from many of you, and I thank you so much for being so interested. If you are here for my regular scheduled programming, which is makeup and skincare, I will see you on the next video. This is going to be a little bit of a life update, story time, and continuation on what's been happening with my family with Gray, my daughter. So if you want to know more about that, go ahead. I would love for you to be a part of the squad. Hit the subscribe button and let's do it. All right, so I don't have any makeup on because I just gave myself a facial and I was like, you know what, we're just gonna come on here real. And I didn't want to put makeup on this freshly clean face. All right, so my last video, if you guys don't know what's going on, when my daughter, who is now 6, she'll be 7 next month, at 2.5 years old, she was diagnosed with epilepsy. I will link the other videos below, so if you don't know the situation, you can catch up, okay? Because there's a lot here. But my last video I did on this subject was over a year, almost 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years October or November. All right, so there's going to be 2 parts of this video. The first part is going to be all real, like, medically based things, okay? And then the last half of this video is alternative things that we are doing for her. The reason why I'm breaking this up is because not everyone believes in alternative medicines, and I want to give kind of both aspects of that in kind of groupings. It's easier for me to focus on that. Okay, so the last place we left off on is that my daughter had just gone into an EMU stay, and they mapped her brain and the whole thing. It was very traumatic. This was October of 2019. And after that, we got some results about a lesion on her brain, and then it turned out to be nothing. That actually, her doctor said some people are just born with that, and it is not affecting the situation. We also were trying keto, and that's where I'm going to start because you guys are so amazing. You have given me so many ideas of where to go. So if you're struggling with this situation in your family, if somebody's just been diagnosed with, you know, pediatric epilepsy or obviously adult epilepsy, go back and look at all of the comments in those other videos as well as this one, because people are so kind and they are so knowledgeable. This disease, in my opinion, or condition, it's not a disease, it's a condition, is not known. There's hardly anything known about it, to be very, very clear. The doctors can treat the symptoms, but they have no idea because A, there are many different forms of epilepsy, and there's just not a lot of they don't know a lot about the brain. The brain is this amazing supercomputer that is super hard to understand, especially in the United States. Okay. So we tried keto. We were on keto for 6 months. And this is, again, only my perspective and my personal point of view. I always tell you to please check with your neurologist and your doctors to, you know, if you're going to start anything or, you know, whatever, check with your doctor. I'm not a doctor. I can just speak to you from a mom point of view that we've been dealing with this for several years now. All right. We tried keto. It was horrible. It was probably the worst experience that we have had ever. They basically started her out on what they call a modified Atkins diet, which is a higher carb content. And it's not true keto, but you are in ketosis. I took it a step further. She was more on a regular based keto diet, and we measured her ketones in her urine every morning. The diet was very hard for Gray to eat. It was just like a lot of fat. She took 2 syringes of MCT oil, one in the morning, one at night, 10 milligrams. Milligrams, yes. Every single day. She was such a trooper. We had her, of course, on all of the supplements that her regular nutritionist put her on, which was like fish oil, CoQ10, high vitamin C, some B vitamins, things like that. Come to find out, her seizures actually got worse with it. And then it created a constipation in her that we actually had to take her to the emergency room for. Excuse me. Come to find out, after talking to a functional nutritionist, okay, if you guys don't know what functional nutritionists are, they're amazing. So they put her through a bunch of different tests to see what her body would tolerate. She's actually allergic to dairy. And if you know anything about the keto diet, it is pretty high in dairy, especially for kids. That's one way they can do it. So she would be eating mayonnaise packages when we were out doing things to keep her ketones up. She would be eating cream cheese. I mean, it was bananas. And so come to find out, she can't do that diet. She is gluten intolerant and very highly intolerant to milk. None of her allergies are anaphylactic. It runs in her my husband's side of the family. And so I urge you, I know a lot of Western medicine doctors, which I absolutely value every single thing that they have to say, but will not consider diet as a trigger for an inflammatory response in the gut that then goes to the brain, okay? It is, in my opinion, if you're a kid or you are epileptic, please go to some sort of functional nutritionist. I will list all of my practitioners in the description box below, and get tested. There are many, many tests that you kind of have to go through to kind of uncover all of these different things that might be contributing to the symptoms of epilepsy. Now, also too, I just want, if you guys are this your first video, I'm not talking about genetic epilepsy. Gray does not have any genes for epilepsy. She wasn't born with it, things like that. So those are a little bit different, but I really am trying with all these videos to try to urge people to consider other things in your environment, in your body, not just taking medicine, okay? But taking medicine, of course, whatever your doctor says. If you want a rundown of the different tests that we have done with our alternative doctors, please let me know. Just email me and I can tell you what they are. Okay, so basically at this point when keto did not work, I asked to, what were we gonna do? You know, like, what are we gonna do? She's now on 4 seizure meds. And what's there to do? The doctor basically told me there's nothing more we can do for her. You need to adjust your expectations. I get that, totally understand. But my first response, and has been since the very beginning, is no, I'm not going to adjust my expectations. I will adjust them temporarily while I go and look at other things. But I am not, I have to exhaust all avenues that I possibly can to help heal her and see what comes of it. I asked my doctor to help me with a CBD addition to her routine, and she basically wouldn't. And this is one of, like, she's very, very, very well-known neurologist. She's very skilled, but she does not believe in any alternative medicines, and I think that is a problem. I really, really do. So basically I said, okay, I hired a doctor. She is a licensed doctor, but she specializes in the application of CBD or just CBD and THC, kind of different combinations here in Colorado Springs. Oh, there's a fly in here. I will list her information below. You know, you can do what you want to with that. She's amazing, amazing. She was actually one of Charlotte Figge's doctors, one of her first doctors. So if you don't know who Charlotte Figge is the young girl who suffered with Dravet syndrome, who Charlotte's Web, the CBD company, started this strain of CBD for her, okay? So that doctor wanted to try a CBD only product. Well, all CBD has a tiny little bit of THC, but it's untraceable. But a CBD product first before going CBD and THC. She had all sorts of things. I mean, the plethora of knowledge, or the depth and breadth of her knowledge in this. She's been doing this for many years. So she has all sorts of things that we could try to do. So she tried her on this one CBD. It's by a company called Bluebird Botanicals. Again, I'll list it in the description box below. And she helped me dose everything. She helped me titrate it up. We talked every week. And she was also available by text message. She was awesome. She is awesome. I'll tell you why I'm saying she was awesome in a second. So we've been doing that, and I think that that has helped tremendously. Now, her neurologist knows every single thing we do. She may not agree with it or care, but she knows what we do. I want to make sure she's on the same boat. So she knows that she's on CBD, and she thinks only the reason why CBD works is because it ups one of her medications, which is called Onfi. It naturally has like an increase effect to it. Sure, I'm sure that it does. There is research to support that, but there is tons and tons and tons of research to also suggest that, or to say that this does affect the neurons in the brain. It affects gut health. It also is an anti-inflammatory in the body. So most of the time, epilepsy or seizure activity is a misfiring of electrons in the brain. And this is a tendency to kind of calm that down a touch and also reduce inflammation, which a lot of epileptics have inflammation throughout the whole body. Okay, so that's actually been working great. We were super happy with the treatment. We are great. We're still using that. So we do that as well. And we don't want to do anything else with that just right now. We're just going to stick with that. So she's on 4 seizure medications. She's on Depakote, Onfi, Vimpat, and Keppra. And then she's on her CBD. And of course, still her vitamin supplements, okay? So after we're going through with that is really, honestly, this is what's sad, is that that's the end of this medical part of this conversation. I was basically told, yeah, this is all it is. We can't help you anymore. Sorry. So, yeah. So I had to, I'll tell you that in a second. Okay. Sorry, there's so much that's happened. So anyway, I started researching. I started talking to every single person I knew. I started calling and getting consultations with different doctors from different states that specialize in this. We have tried she still goes to her chiropractor, by the way, but we tried a neurological chiropractor. They call him a neurologist chiropractic. He was amazing. He was just super far away, and our regular girl was amazing anyway. But we tried laser light therapy on her 3 times a week, driving an hour 3 times a week, super expensive. So he would adjust her neurology. He would adjust her, and then he would do this thing called the Sheds Light Laser. And it has been proven to be effective for a lot of people with epilepsy, Alzheimer's, learning disorders, things of that nature, any kind of neurological conditions. But we found it not to help. The only thing that really found to help with that was that he integrated something called the primordial reflexes, which are reflexes in the body. This is crazy, you guys. This is all of these pieces are important, so stick with me here. So primordial reflexes are something that you're actually supposed to let go of whenever you kind of grow up into toddlerhood. And a lot of kids with neurological conditions, so pre-existing conditions, or pre-existing ability to come into something like epilepsy or another neurological condition, have not lost these primordial reflexes. And we actually noticed a huge difference in her after he had done that. So that was great. So we tried the laser, did that for about 7 or 8 months with the chiropractic care, and decided to move on. And then we ended up talking to a new functional nutritionist, and again ran a few more tests. She She was, and then we put her through an elimination diet, basically where she had none of her inflammatory foods at all. And then we started working on her gut. So we found out through this, I hope this is making sense. This is why it's really important, and I want you to listen very, very closely. We found out that through these different testing that we did, that she had basically leaky gut syndrome. Her gut was so unhealthy that it was causing inflammation. It is causing inflammation throughout the body. If you know anything about the gut, it really is where our life force is. It's like where people say, you know, your gut, what's your gut feel? What's your gut instinct, right? That's one way. Another one is that if your gut microbiome isn't functioning the way it should be, your skin is affected, right? Don't we talk about that? Don't I talk about how important digestive enzymes are and treating IBS and all of these things? So we found out that basically that was affecting her immune system, and leaky gut, what that is basically, it's what it is. It's basically all the stuff in her stomach were leaking out into her blood. And she basically it was causing inflammation throughout the body. So this was about, I'd say 9 months ago. She went in really hard to heal her gut with a bunch of different supplements. Gray's amazing at taking supplements. She's kind of I think she's different than most would be at her age. She's been taking supplements, like she can swallow pills for many years. So she's a little bit different. Yeah, she doesn't like taking many pills a day, but it needed to happen, right? So again, I'm not going to tell you exactly what she took because this was specific to her body and her needs. So I would encourage you to go talk to either this lady or somebody else. She does everything virtually as well. So anyway, she started to heal her gut, and over the last year, I would say that she's had maybe 2 or 3 real ones, I guess, real seizures. We haven't seen her original seizures, which are focal seizures, is where she kind of loses a little bit of connectivity. She kind of has like a slapping of the mouth. She sweats and flushes, and she kind of gulps. That's very classic focal seizures. And we haven't seen those in quite a few years, to be honest with you. They've now changed, okay? And I don't really know exactly what that means because her medicine has not changed. So when I asked her doctor goes, oh, well, it's just the meds working. I'm like, no, you haven't changed her meds in 2 years. So it is what it is. So they now are like, it's the weirdest thing. She just says basically that my head feels funny. That's all she says. There is nothing else connected to it. Zero. No flushing, no gulping, no nothing. Literally, it's as if I was like, oh, you guys, I have a headache, and that was it. I don't know, it's so strange. We've seen a little bit different ones, but like I said, only 3 maybe this year, but they're very, very minor, very, very minor, like almost to the point where you're just kind of like she skips a beat for a quick second. So I attribute that to, obviously, she is on medication. She is healing her gut. The CBD has really been great for her. And just kind of this multi-level or multi-philosophy approach to taking care of her. And then wait till you hear this one. Okay, we were there, great. But we didn't see a reduction in these things like when she says my head feels funny or I have a headache or something like that. In her situation, she can have a lot of headaches because some of the medication can cause that. Also too, some of the gut stuff can cause headaches too. Okay. So she basically said, I want to run a mitotox report on her. So we prick her little finger and we put it on these little things and we send it into the lab. So what this report does is this report gives you the levels of different types of toxins in the body. So they can be environmental, bacterial, viral, a bunch of different things. So what came back on this is that she has 4 different types of toxic mold in her body. And one of them being black mold. She also has a little bit of candida issue, so we'll fix that, but that's less of a concern. She also has an ongoing viral infection, which we're trying to work on as well. But we're starting with the mold because it's the biggest issue. Now, I want to step back on the viral infection real quick. So she's had regular blood work done for her regular Western medicine doctor because that's how they check her blood levels of her medication. For the past 3 years, there has been high markers of an ongoing viral infection in her body. And they basically just said, oh, but don't worry about it, because it wasn't over their level, okay? Which is totally fine. I get it. I trust them. But sometimes their levels on a Western medicine kind of scale can be really, really large. And there still can be effect if it's not up to their higher level standards to treat it, okay? So we only found that out by giving her test results to alternative medicine doctors. Okay. So the functional nutritionist basically said to me, I can't help you with the mold because I think she needs to get on antifungal medication. And if you guys know anything about that, it's aggressive, but like prescription. I reached out to her pediatrician, sent her all of the paperwork, the lab results. The pediatrician, who was actually more holistic based, told me she couldn't help me. And then I reached out to her neurologist, and she told me that she didn't really believe those tests and that she couldn't help me. And that she wouldn't run her own mold level panel. So I basically had to scour Colorado, California, Florida, the East Coast. I mean, I've scoured everywhere for one of the top mold specialists that could treat someone like Greg. And so this gentleman is a doctor, and he works with a team. It's called Medicine with a Heart. And he works with a team of people. He also can prescribe antifungal if needed be. Okay, so he looked at all the test results. He's a wonderful man. And he basically said, I think that she's a little too young for antiviral medications. Let's try to treat it a little bit differently. So we are treating it with many different vitamins every day. And they're not vitamins. They're actually two of them are from a compound pharmacy. If you guys have never heard that word, it is an actual pharmacy, but it's not a pharmaceutical, like a name brand type of things, okay? It's basically where they make the medicine and then they package it in. You have to have a prescription from a doctor, or it's a thing, okay? She's on binders and a whole bunch of other things. She is handling it really, really, really well. And we have to do that for like 4 months, and then we retest her again and we see how it's been going. Okay. So then our doctor basically said, you need to make sure that your house is okay. Oh my God, you guys, if you have ever done mold remediation or mold testing in your house, it is thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, we're talking $10,000, $11,000, $12,000, okay? Now, we're working with a different type of company. This company doesn't just, it's not a generic company. It is one of the only ones I know of in the United States that does it like this. So yes, they look through the whole house for mold, different species, blah, blah, blah. But they also work with mycotoxins in the air, which is also what was prevalent in her scans or in her tests. So they do that. They also look at objects. They test all the objects. They also, they take it from a different approach. So they basically have talked to a bunch of different neurologists and other types of doctors that deal with neurological conditions. And they said, here's what we test for. You need to test for that in yours. So that's what they did. Again, I will link their information in the description box below. They travel all throughout the United States. They're amazing. Next week, we get our test results back for our house. And that's, hopefully it all comes back a-okay, and then I don't have to worry about this house. They did pull out a few things that they want me to look into, which is understandable, and I will work on that remediation as well. So, if you guys don't know about mold exposure can be, can express itself differently in many different people. So most people think, oh, mold exposure is like, oh, I have a runny nose all the time, I'm sick all the time. That can be absolutely a mold toxicity exposure, okay? But also too, it can live in your body for a while. If your body is so overly taxed and your immune system isn't functioning, it can live in your body and cause havoc throughout your whole body for years. So she's probably had this in her body for a while. So basically we are testing the house, and again, like I said, I've been throwing a bunch of stuff away from our very first house just to make sure. But yes, if you guys are concerned at all about chronic illness, I would highly recommend for you to go to a practitioner that does a mitotox test. It's like a mitochondrial tox test. There's a mitochondrial test and there's a mitotox test. And have them check your toxicity level in the body and see if mold comes up for you. Adults are a lot easier to treat than children are with this. Derek and I will also be doing mold testing on us as well, but let's deal with Gray here first. All right, so that's where we are today. Yeah, that's where we are today. We are basically 2 months into the mold releasing in her body. Now with Gray, we have to do things super slow. So because she's highly reactive. So what you would normally give like a regular person or a regular child that isn't highly reactive, she's not even on that dose yet. So it's gonna take us longer, which is fine. But yeah, so ultimately that is what we want to get rid of her body, no matter if it helps her seizures or not. Also too though, mold exposure and toxicity can be a huge culprit in overall epilepsy. So just FYI on that. We also did one more test because he wanted to check her for Lyme and a few other viral things. This is what we'll attack after. She's like a beautiful, like I like to call her a beautiful onion, okay? That we just peel the layers back, treat each thing, and then we'll get to the heart of it that will just be kind of this beautiful ending to the story. It did come back that she has a high viral load. They think that she was, this is actually interesting for you guys. So what they are, like what they're hypothesizing is this. Gray was born and she was born with not a great immune system. I don't know why, some people just aren't, okay. Then we lived in a 1920s house that was flipped. We don't know how good that flip was. We are assuming it was pretty bad and that there was mold exposure in that house and it got into her body. Okay, she also was born with food intolerances, so that also sacrifices your immune system. And then this is a controversial topic, but I do believe she was vaccine injured. Please don't come at me, I don't want to hear it, okay? But I do think that the Tdap was not great for her. So we have low immunity, she also had RSV, which is a strain of strep, when she was 4 months old, and that can live in your body, so that's what they found as her ongoing viral infection, and that has never been able to release from her body. Then we moved, okay, sorry, my camera died, so I had to let it cool down. I am so sorry for how long this is, and I should have done more recap, but I wanted things to progress a little further. Anyway, long story short, we think that the 1920 house had mold, okay, and that's been harboring in her body all this time. Then we moved to Northern California, and she got a virus because they think she was bit by a tick, and basically it caused the virus in the body, and caused everything to go, excuse my language, to hell in a handbasket. Okay, so the moral of the story is, and this is just my opinion, please don't stop looking. Don't stop at just what the doctors say. Do research on alternative things. I feel very grateful that I have the ability to do this. I know not everybody does, and I think that it sucks because to me the medical system is broken because all of this alternative stuff is done out of pocket. There's no insurance coverage for it. There's nothing. I mean, yeah, I mean, this is crazy. And the doctors don't believe you, and because for probably very many reasons. I would love for there to be, I would actually love to start a clinic that has beautifully trained medical professionals that are of Western philosophy, and then beautiful medical others that have been trained in other philosophies, and the nutritionists and chiropractors that all work together in a beautiful, beautiful environment that everybody respects everybody and all of the information. Now, I'm not talking about like, you know, very out there things. I'm talking about, this is all of her alternative medicine doctors, they are real doctors, okay? They have just as much training as a Western medical doctor, they just didn't go into that field, okay? The nutritionists have tons and tons and tons of years of training. You know what I'm trying to say here, okay? That would be a perfect world. I think people would heal in so many much more beautiful ways. I think there should be meditation taught. I think there should be exercise programs, yoga, things like that taught in a medical facility like this as well. So anyway, now for a little bit more woo-woo stuff, if you're still with me, I really appreciate it. It is just all really important to show that this is going to be our story. She will heal. She is healing as we speak. And I am speaking that into existence, okay? I have been on the floor with no hope at all and seeking out other ideas and professionals has given me my hope back, because I thought I was crazy, like crazy. And I've come to find out I am not. So anyway, I urge you all, just don't stop looking, okay? Keep researching, keep looking, keep asking questions, keep taking those free consultations that a lot of these extra doctors do, okay? So I also believe in crystal healing. I do crystal healing in my skincare practice. Doesn't matter if you believe in it or not. I believe in it, and it's part of like a Reiki healing. So we have a lot of, and I'm doing my crystal video soon, so I'll go a little more in depth at that time. But Gray has a lot of amethyst in her room that is going to help her sleep and stay calm and stay grounded. She has a lot of smoky quartz, obsidian, and black tourmaline to help to you know, clear her space of any kind of negative thoughts, negative entities, negative anything like that. And then she also has a leptolite. If you guys haven't heard of leptolite, leptolite is the crystal of neurological conditions, and she has a sphere next to her bed, and I do cleanse them every single week with a smoke bundle. Not sage, but a smoke bundle. Okay, so that's my woo-woo stuff for that. I also do some healing on her. She likes me to do facials, so I do my own mama healing. I also at night play sound healing, so 528 hertz. There's a couple other ones. You can find them on YouTube. I play them for her at night. Sound healing is a thing, by the way. It is a thing. So you can do your research on that, and as well as we obviously watch her diet and things like that as much as a 6-year-old can. And then the last thing I'll leave you with is this. We do work with an energy practitioner or an energy healer. If you don't know that our body is not just our physical body. Our body does have an energy body that has medically been proven, scientifically proven, to extend out of our body. And it can sometimes hinder us if it's out of balance, or there's a lot of things to go on with that, hinder us in healing. So like I said, I believe in treating the whole body. That's why I'm a holistic skincare practitioner. That's why I have my business that's called a holistic skincare practitioner. And so we also are working with an energy healer. Now, these people, you can find really good ones and you can find not so great ones. So really do your research. Again, I will list him in the description box below. His name is Chris Bear. He practices different types of healing. He's also Native American, and so he works with us. We just started last week, and he does energy healing to heal her energetic field to help assist in the healing. I know that sounds a little more on the woo-woo side, but again, it's just something to consider. Like I said, this is all going to be part of the story. As she becomes completely healed, which I think is probably going to be in the next year, you know, this will be a beautiful story that I can't wait to tell everybody that wants to listen. And again, I really want to be on this mission of hopefully that people just don't give up all the time, that, You know, like for example, if somebody has cancer, like my mom had a friend, or not my mom had a friend, not my mom. My friend had cancer. And her regular doctors basically gave her 4 months to live. She had stage 4 something or other. And again, this is just a story to tell you what I mean. It's not telling you what to do if this is your thing, but look into it. Her alternative healing practitioners basically told her to fast, cut out all sugar, all of these different things. And so with Western medicine, so her chemotherapy and all the stuff she was doing, along with some of these also more alternatives, supplements and different types of way to eat and all this different stuff, she is in remission. And so I'm just saying that there can be, healing-wise, a place that is in both aspects that come together beautifully. So do not stop looking. I get messages almost every day that tell me that people's children or grandchildren have been diagnosed recently with epilepsy and they don't know where to begin. Again, I will tell you, please go back and watch my other few videos. Reason being is because there's a lot of tidbits in there that I can't cover because this video already is super long. But seek out a good neurologist. Do not go to just a seek out a good epileptologist, not neurologist, epileptologist. Seek out alternative healing methods. Work on the diet, gut. It's very important. And know that you aren't alone. I say this all the time in all these videos. I see you, I hear you, I absolutely feel you. And you are not alone, and you can heal too. I know people actually normally, or not normally, but people can naturally grow out of these things as well. So don't lose hope. Don't lose hope that this doesn't have to be your story forever, because it's not Gray's, and it could possibly not be yours. I'm here to answer any questions if you have any specific ones. Yes, so, and just so you know, she's basically drug resistant. So we've tried many drugs. So anyway, again, like I said, this is not her story and it doesn't have to be yours. And again, I'm always here to answer questions. I'm here to reassure you. This condition is extremely scary. Extremely scary. And it sucks. And the doctors just don't know a lot about it. So again, I'm here. Thank you so much for sticking with me. Again, like I said, it's so long. I apologize. But there's been so much that's happened, and we have seen the healing firsthand. She just is healing, and I'm allowing and giving her body the space to do what it's meant to do, which is heal. Okay? So I love you guys. Thank you again for being here, and I will see you on the next one. Lots of love from me to you. Bye, loves.